because I don't think there's anyone better in the world in last hit situations. Last hit, MuteAce is, I think, the far best player in the world, and these players already ready to get right into it. ApolloKage, MuteAce in loser's bracket, top 16. Here we go. Let's go.
And I mean, you were talking about how great MuteAce is in last hit scenarios. We're going to find out if ApolloKage actually gives him that chance. Oh my goodness, right now. MuteAce saying, look, I don't get to my last stock, only my opponents do.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that if I just take care of you first.
Yeah. And I was thinking on paper that grenades were maybe going to be a little bit of an issue, a little bit of a concern. You know, Peach has such large hitboxes and grenades are an issue, but for ApolloKage, I'm sorry, I was talking about the wrong player apparently.
Yeah, I mean, grenade is a frame one pull, and it is something that Peach has to worry about, but if you have the execution, which MuteAce very much does, and are able to just lock your opponent down, you don't really have to worry about that. At those high, like mid to high percents, yeah, sure. On top of that as well, you know Peaches have good item play. Snakes should too, but like Peaches
are better.
Yeah, you have more.
I'll just call it what it is. They're accustomed to grabbing their turn-ups and still doing every single aerial. Yeah, it's a bit easier because of float, but that doesn't change the fact they're really accustomed to doing it.
Yeah.
Snakes just kind of throw grenades at you. They're like, I threw one, I grabbed one, I jump with one occasionally, but it's not the same as what Peaches did.
Yeah, you're doing quantum physics over there with Peach sometimes for those combos.
And I mean, as we talk about combos, it's almost as if MuteAce is comboing ApolloKage into the grenades on purpose.
Oh, nice. Gets that parry into the up tilt right there. ApolloKage still sitting pretty, only on second stock. He's a pretty strong character, but I feel like another character that scales super well with Rage. I think with Snake's weight class, I think that ApolloKage can live a fair bit longer as long as you don't get edge guard to oblivion, which could happen.
Yeah, especially again with a player like MuteAce, someone that's not afraid to go off stage, float in your face, throw out that forward air or that side B or back air. Just so many tools that Peach really has, and MuteAce will use all of them when Snake is off stage.
Oh, the discipline from both those players, knowing that that could have been a trap, both of them just kind of resetting their line of scrimmage. The safety behind that C4 right there, and ApolloKage very sneaky with that, just kind of trying to set up his zone, make sure that MuteAce has a hard time getting in, or has to worry about something else. But MuteAce not really worrying about that, coming through with the forward air, looking for another one, but that C4.
Without that C4, MuteAce was hunting ApolloKage, stalking him, if you will. Good awareness by ApolloKage. It wouldn't have the C4 there, but then also the awareness to actually blow it up in time.
All right, now we see that patented last hit movement starting to come through from MuteAce, that little float cancels right there, and just making it hard to tell when he's going to try and approach and when he's going to try and get the party started.
And the C4, more grenades, and MuteAce's spacing is phenomenal. I don't know if MuteAce has blown up a single grenade with one of his own attacks.
Yeah, but ApolloKage also has some great spacing as well. He's in crouch to get through that grab and to start his own little party right here. Now at 82%. I mean, he's not super heavy. And look at this minefield. You just have to try and navigate if you want to get back in there. And the Nikita to get through the turnip. ApolloKage using everything. Normally we see that just on edge guards or just trying to get leg pressure. But ApolloKage is like, wait, I can cover this zone through your turnip as well.
And I really like the use of Nikita in neutral. You know, that's something we were talking about yesterday, just how Snakes are now doing that part of the meta. Before it was only the edge guard, and now just using the neutral, it's clearly just a difficult thing for players to deal with.
I think it's a hard call out once you start to set up your pace and start to make your opponent respect. Right? Because you know that they just won't approach haphazardly, and then once you see Nikita out, it's usually too late to try and get anything on a character as slow as Peach. And is that a stitch? I believe that is. Yep. All right, here we go. Scary stuff.
Like, I mean, you're terrified of the stitch, but you're also at 204%. Does it really matter?
Yes, because it'll set up for a shield poke. Case in point, I was worried about that because if ApolloKage can hold shield there, Snake's such a big body character, you have a chance to just get poked on the way down, and MuteAce, recognizing that, just lands on top of him gracefully with that nair and gets that stock. We got ourselves a final stock game one.
We do, and you were saying that MuteAce is one of the best players in the world in these scenarios.
Specifically last hit. If ApolloKage can finish Mute off before that, that's great. But if it's like 150 to 150, I'm taking Mute all day.
Look, with these two players, every hit could be the last hit.
That's facts. That's actual facts. Especially at these early percents. Yeah, ApolloKage playing super respectful, knowing that a huge combo can come through, especially when a tournament is in hand. MuteAce fish for a turnip, and there we go. Kind of improvising right there, using the grenade to kind of just spacing around that one, but still the damage was done. Having to recover low here. This is scary for Mute. Not able to get anything going as ApolloKage rolls into the stage. sets up 2 grenades. There we go. It's classic.
Yep. Grenades at the ground. Obviously, you want to jump, so I'm going to meet and greet you up top with a nair. Dash attack comes in. MuteAce trading with the grenade. Just enough damage to make him high enough to actually forfeit a stock 2 in up air. ApolloKage, well-played chess game right there.
That's why I love both these players so much. ApolloKage basically playing 5D chess, and MuteAce also playing 5D chess, but also the one where the queen's actually a gun, and you can just shoot your opponent sometimes, okay? MuteAce always has a way to get back into this game. It just takes 1 hit, maybe 2 hits, if he finds the right ones. So I never count both these players out. I'm excited to see what the picks are for this game too in terms of stages, because we know that they're both going Snake and Peach all day, every day. Right, going to Smashville. The stage I always call the Scrapville, Fight Me Build, right? Very small stage, just enough space for you to kind of bob and weave a little bit, but also you're going to have to interact a lot more than a lot of these other wider stages that are traditionally in our tournament rule set.
Definitely true. Personally, not a fan of the stage, even though everyone loves Smashville. I think that's because of Smash 4. That platform is terrifying to me, you know? Whenever you're on the ground and your opponent's trying to land, I'm just like, well, what do I do?
Yeah, great question. I think that's Mute's strategy, just kind of bank on his own skill to, oh my god, he took so much damage. I had a whole sentence plan there. I had to talk about how much damage was taken.
But you did keep the turnip safe, so, you know, look at the brighter side, the silver lining. Oh, that Nikita just attacked through it?
I think he might have nared through it. I didn't get a good look at it, but either way, able to neutralize the hitbox and get back on the ground. And what a call out using the Peach Bomber. The float so threatening. Caught a grenade, had to air dodge through it though, and that grenade actually might have saved the ApolloKage.
Wow!
When did that even get there?
Only
So
ApolloKage knows. Sitting at 185, really demonstrating one of the strengths that Snake has, just such a heavy character, living for so long. How many characters are living above 200? ApolloKage is doing this on the regular.
On top of that, it's part of the weight, but also on top of that, it's, okay, he had the grenade also and the blowing up there. But I think a big part of that, oh wait, another stage, and just throwing it away. But ApolloKage is really good at positioning so that he doesn't take hits that kill him.
Yeah.
Just over and over. You know, he'll eat the hits, and that's part of the thing that flusters a lot of opponents. Because, like, okay, it's Snake. I had to work for like 2 minutes to get in on this guy, and now I just can't even kill him. What the heck is happening? It's part of this macro game plan.
That's an underrated skill that people don't talk about. We talk about risk reward, but there's also, you can use that when it comes to what hits you eat, what positions you end up in, you know? And you're absolutely correct, J-Dog. You can jab me for a year, you can even down air me, but I'm going to avoid that forward air, I'm going to avoid those smash attacks, and even that nair depending on what position I'm in.
Man, AK's grenades has been immaculate this set. He's throwing those just in time for MuteAce to not even have a chance to catch them in this game number 2. Recognizing the item game is completely on point with Mute as well. So just playing that super respectfully. Mute having a hard time getting in. Scrapping, still doing some damage, but no significant hits until right there. Starting to really start to move and groove and avoiding the so wonderfully. But the grenade, or excuse me, the C4 again. Sneaky stuff. On Smashville, I feel like that covers so much more of the stage since it's just a smaller stage and you have to move through it. Peach, not the most mobile character.
It definitely does.
I should say.
And I mean, ApolloKage is making it a point to have a C4 there at almost all times. Doesn't have one there at the moment. MuteAce getting plenty of time to play the game, but again, he's in the air dropping it after being comboed, and did MuteAce catch it or not? Great forward air though right there. MuteAce trailing a bit at the moment, but that is nothing for Peach. You're at 45, you put 60, 70, 80% like it's nothing off of a single opening.
True enough, especially with the turnip in hand. ApolloKage knows that, gonna just try and avoid all of it. Nikita spelling trouble because you also have a setup right there using the Claymore, excuse me, mortar and the grenade. Not gonna get the follow-up, and oh, you did it to yourself, unfortunately. I like the idea, I like the attempt, but Snakes knew the grenades better than anyone in the world.
I feel a little bad for that scenario because as soon as MuteAce started to cook, there's a grenade that was cooked that fired right back, and just ApolloKage capitalizing flawlessly off of it.
I think that was the difference made just in a fraction of a second too, because if it was thrown just a little bit later, that would have hit the shield and exploded near the same time, and you wouldn't have been caught up in the explosion. Because it bounced off just a little bit, it ended up exploding and you being sent in a really compromising position. It's a battle of milliseconds. Like a single frame or two can be the difference between victory or defeat at this echelon of bracket. Everyone has to play 100% on point. Both these players are playing amazingly, but ApolloKage going up 2-0 right now.
And not what we expected. Not because of ApolloKage is just so good and MuteAce isn't on the... They're both phenomenal players. Really expecting a game 5. It still might happen. MuteAce is still a player that can do a reverse 3-0.
Absolutely.
But right now, ApolloKage is just etching it out barely. You know, just that extra grenade, that extra 10% is just putting him in a position where he's actually able to take it over MuteAce. And possibly proving you wrong. I don't know. ApolloKage is looking really good in last hit scenarios.
It's not true last hit. Snake's heavy as heck, okay? Like at 70-80%, that's not last hit. I'm talking when both of them are above 100. That's the time where I feel like Mute is unbeatable. It just hasn't quite happened yet, which is a testament to how strong ApolloKage's game plan has been.
Fair enough, fair enough. Right now, though, MuteAce looking fantastic, but again, if you're fighting against a character who is living into 200% regularly, is 114 to 83 really even? Are you really winning at this moment? It's hard to say.
Depends on the positioning, and right now, AK's been making it back just fine. It's so hard to set up ledge pressure against him, but not committing hard enough for the flow quite in time, and not getting that back air. So, just has to reset, start pulling some turns, navigating all that again. And wow, at that, threading the needle but not able to find the biggest hits. Nikita ends up extending the hitbox, it looks like, as it runs into the stage and ends up blowing up MuteAce again. Kind of his own undoing in a couple of these stocks here.
I can't tell if that was unfortunate for MuteAce or genius by ApolloKage for running it in back kind of into the stage first, into that area, knowing that MuteAce is probably going to try to hit it with a side B. Hard to say, but either way, still unfortunate for MuteAce right there, who is struggling to just get rid of this stock, but finds the opening, well placed up air, floats around, keeps on poking, and finds the opening eventually.
Yeah, trying to prime the RNG, trying to find a Stitch or something a little better. Stitch and Dot Eye is actually, Dot Eye does like a lot of damage too, but Stitch is the big maker. And I feel like you get one more in him, honestly, for this game. He's pulled 2 so far.
We call those hacks, okay? If Peach grabs 1, I think Peach is hacking. This is my opinion,
Odds aren't even that bad. I think it's like 164 or something.
Yo, that's not... Look, I have not won anything when it came to lottery. Peaches are hacking.
Here we go, though. MuteAce drawing a small lead here, trying to capitalize on making bigger. Oh, I think
did you get the sticky?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it's on you. But did it transfer back? That is the question now. I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. It blinks for a few seconds, and then after that, oh, the Parasol, yes! The fixed knockback on Parasol is extremely high. Even at like mid-ish percents, that'll end up being enough to kill. Brilliant stuff from MuteAce, capitalizing on that trade, and now with a sizable lead here in this game number 3.
Yeah, and now ApolloKage has to fight you, has to chase you. You no longer have to force anything if you don't want to as MuteAce. You get to dance around, you get to choose your openings, and we're seeing it pay off.
Yeah, this is where Peaches play best, you know?
Yeah. Matt was just talking about it yesterday, about how in Ultimate it really feels like we get... Oh, no!
Oh,
where was it?
There?
How? Houdini is also in this game. DLC, ApolloKage apparently found him.
Man, amazing stuff. Actually, I blinked. I didn't hear the audio cue. I don't know if that was just like the detonation naturally at 30 seconds, or was that a intentional detonation. Either way, Mute ended up just in the wrong place at the wrong time, gets blown up, and now these grenades are starting to spell a lot of damage. Gonna need some more plays here to make sure the lead doesn't go by the wayside, because once Snake gets a lead, the entire landscape of this matchup flips on its head.
And just what's so unfortunate is it felt like MuteAce had such a huge lead, and right now that lead is diminishing quickly before our very eyes. Starts up, went for the force match, knew even if I mess up, there's a grenade there, minimal damage will happen to me.
Nice. Okay, not able to get that forward air though, and now this is where it's starting to get scary. 80 to 114, or 145, excuse me, goes that Peach bomb. They're trying to cook something, but that up air active for 5 years.
And counting. It started when the game came out, and it still had not ended.
Yep. I got hit from up air from like 2016.
Trying to find those up tilts. Are we alive? We are, but MuteAce prime position right now to finish this.
Nice, and there we go. That's the Mute factor. That's the Mute factor right there. Last hit situation, the spacing is so good that he'll just be able to tag you out wherever you end up landing. Brilliant stuff.
I'm curious to know if MuteAce was aware that throwing the turnip into that hitbox would have just lagged Snake out so long that he would get the free hit.
Maybe.
Because that was really interesting, just to see ApolloKage throw it out and Mute say, here's a turnip. And then Snake was just sitting there, basically asleep, just falling. And MuteAce lined it up. Beautiful hit right there and puts himself on the board.
All right, and this can be how it starts. I feel like both of them kind of taking their time, collecting their nerves, thinking about stages. I like it. I like it. And more traditional rule sets, you have like up to, I think it was like the original rules were up to like 2 minutes in between games to think about stuff. So I've never seen a player take that full amount of time, but you know, I think they have that option.
They should. I would.
I know you would.
Every time.
I know you would.
I'd be like, 2? I'd be like, guys, I'm back at, you got here 201 DQ. Actually, sir, it was 158.
The Ice King.
All right, I don't intentionally ice, okay?
Shouts to One Piece, by the way.
I just sometimes have to use the restroom between every set. And you guys just call me right back. And look, this is why I don't play anymore. No one gets ice. I just commentate now. I just talk about the game. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, sure.
But no ice seems to be happening right now. Yes, there's a slight delay, but they are communicating. They are talking, figuring it out. And I would be taking every bit of time to formulate a plan when the stakes are this high. You're at Super Smash Con 2023. If I'm not mistaken, over 2,600 entrants?
Yes. Yep.
I'm taking all my time. I'm trying to get the top 8.
On top of that, it's the 4th biggest Ultimate tournament of all time. Actually, 4th biggest Smash tournament of all time.
Woo!
Yep. Above that, it's EVO 2019, Smash Con 19, and EVO 2016. Yeah, Smash Con's number 4.
You mean to tell me that all the top 6 largest events are either EVO or Super Smash Con? Man, after this, I need the crowd to clap it up for that.
Yeah. Big Super Smash Con fan over here. Bit biased, I know. But speaking of Super Smash Con, we got more of our top 16 starting right now in a MuteAce. I don't know what he was thinking about, but hey, he figured it out. He figured out the whole equation right now. 87 right off jump, and look at that movement, dropping right through that platform with the nair, scrapping on ApolloKage right now. And AK can't find any footing so far.
I've never played a game called Air Gliders, but if I did, I think it would look just the way MuteAce is moving right now. 118 unanswered, almost a 0 to death, still might be able to pull it off. How are you coming back, Snake? Grabs that turnip, good stuff right there. But you can't up tilt with it in your hand. What are you gonna do, Snake? Jumps into the air, gets rid of it immediately, but MuteAce still patient, knowing, hey, I applied all the pressure, I got all the damage. I can take my sweet time. You're the one right now that is forced to make a move.
And so patient. I mean, this is one of my favorite things I love about MuteAce. Has the horsepower just to go all in early on, and then once the advantage isn't there, take it right back slow again.
But the downside to that is that it gives your opponent time to formulate a plan, time to chip away at you. You know, you were almost up 100% earlier. Right now, you're only up like 60. And yeah, taking your time is great, but against someone as heavy as Snake, against someone with so many projectiles, is it always worth it? That's always the age-old question.
Yeah. And right now, it very well could be. It all depends on this next hit here. As I said, last hit situations, I pick all day, every day. Gets that down throw. Not high enough to get anything guaranteed quite yet.
Grenade. Not helping out ApolloKage right there. Good little air dodge on, but MuteAce just posturing for position right now. Dancing around. ApolloKage so afraid he goes back to the ledge.
Yeah, you needed some space. That's the thing that good positioning gets you. Sometimes it's force your opponent to do things they normally wouldn't. It's going to be a problem. For who? For who? It's going to be a problem for AK right there. Not able to swing it around quite enough to get that kill, but ends up finding it just a couple seconds later with that back air. AK stabilizing after that huge little salvo there from MuteAce.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, you lost the stock first, but you already did your job. You were trailing by so much that just the fact you got MuteAce to kill rate before losing your stock, completely worth it. I'll take that all day, every day.
And twice on Sunday, man. Good patience.
Of course, it's to make up for the Chick-fil-A being closed.
Yep.
Oh, you finished the jab. MuteAce is going to eat you alive for it. You're off stage, trying to land. Are we going to punch the air dodge? No, we are not, but a great grab right afterwards. And again, turn up in hand. Fortunately for ApolloKage, it dropped. Otherwise, you weren't going to have access to any aerials.
Yeah, a little bit of some rough going right there, but getting a little bit of river stomp action going. Tech chase, yep. When you float, it actually covers a fair bit of the options, and you can set up for even more damage later on. But AK surviving, it's a little bit longer, 106%. Oh man, that empty jump. You're not safe in shield, you're not safe on the ground. What do you do? You pull a grenade and pray, and AK is still alive to tell the story another day. But it's looking like the sun is setting, 189%, and MuteAce posturing pretty aggressively right now.
Yeah, MuteAce knows exactly the position that they're in at the moment.
Nice, big call out. Still not enough. Dash attack. I mean, it has a lot of weird hitbox to it. I wonder if the right hitbox would have been enough to kill. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't though. Snake very heavy. This is so scary.
All right. It did not do any damage, but man, was he shook as you should be.
Yeah, Peach not very fast when it comes to horizontal movement. Oh, man.
What?
And that's why you can't get away from that up air sometimes, just not having the timing. But forward throw, finally enough, bring us to final stock, game number 4, MuteAce's lose bracket stock potentially.
Man, talk about good-ass Smash Brothers, okay?
Yes, sir.
MuteAce trying to fight for this reverse 3-0, trying to make this comeback, trailing right now on the final stock. Has so much work cut out. Not because MuteAce isn't winning enough openings, but Snake is dying above 200% time and time again. You gotta work twice as hard.
Or swing twice as hard, too. I mean, MuteAce hasn't really gone for too many big haymakers, but now might be the time. It has a lot of good positioning here. It's all to tell what Snake is doing up there, but finds a punish on that, gets that turn up.
This might be it. Oh no, tries to force it, not able to do it, loses the stage, but fortunately does find that back air immediately after. Gonna throw that turnip down. Good positioning from ApolloKage right there. Still in a position to potentially win this game and advance in the bracket. MuteAce though, fighting with everything that they have at the moment. That C4 is kind of the line of scrimmage. It's gone. Another one's gonna be there momentarily though. What?
Okay.
How do we get past it?
You do not, but you get sent the other way enough to survive. But you have another opportunity. Gets that Peach bomb, just gets back to the ledge just barely. And what a call out from AK. You know that you want to approach. You know that the party was about to get started. But MuteAce mixes all of that with a big foot to the face. Or excuse me, ApolloKage mixes all that with a foot to the face and takes that 3-1. I feel like that was anyone's game. And beating Mute in the last hit is not an easy feat. But man, oh man, AK playing a little different today.
I love the decision making. I'm hoping we get to it on the replay, on these highlights, but just the awareness of, hey, MuteAce right now is pressuring me with float. Not buttons, but float, just making me stay in my shield. I'm just gonna put a hitbox out for you to run into instead. ApolloKage timing it flawlessly, stopping that potential reverse 3-0 and taking over MuteAce in the 3-1 victory, which is such a difficult feat. Let's not forget, Florida had one of the best Snakes in the business.
Yeah, true. MVD actually here today had a pretty good run as well. And yeah, so I know that MuteAce and MVD have played a fair few times, so both of them amazing players. But once you get this far, it's all killers. And there we go. There was that pull, just a little bit too close, gets that back air. The aerial callouts from ApolloKage, I think, were the biggest difference makers as well. Because as I said before, Peach can't really move side to side very quickly. So if you just end up above, normally it's just a game of rock, paper, scissors, all right? And when you do that,
I love that.
Yeah, that was a really good punish. That has such high fixed knockback, by the way. But yeah, ApolloKage just jumping up there, throwing that up air, and with a little bit of drift to it as well. And that's what you pointed out before, Logic.
The turnip hit the back air. I don't know if we can see that again, but that was just so well placed. You know, you know that Snakes are going to throw out a hitbox, and I almost want to say MuteAce did it on reaction, actually.
Yep, and ApolloKage doing that for the Nakama, you know, doing it for the crew.
And this was that final game, the final moments, unfortunately, for MuteAce in this bracket. A crowd favorite, if you will, just wasn't able to do it this time. And was this the punish? No, it wasn't that one.
Just some
there was one
right
where got a free hit off of it.
Yeah, and there we go. kind of setting up, yeah, as you said before, Logic, threatening with float. That was the big difference.
MuteAce likes to float in and out of that range because, you know, Peach has such good buttons.
Oh,
but it's